Screen time salutations to all you internet dwellers out there, and welcome to another episode of Screen Time Continuum. I am Nick, and I am joined, as always, by Keelan. How's it going, man?
It is going amazing on this side. Happy Hump Day.
Happy Hump Day to you, and we got Dijon here. How's it going, bro?
Not too bad. Happy Hump Day to you guys.
Happy Hump Day. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're ready. We're gearing to go. We just finished season 2, or I should say volume 2 of Love, Death, and Robots. And we wanted to talk about it this evening. So this is the second season. I think the first season came out, I can't even remember. I think it was like
2019.
2019.
Yeah, about 2 years ago, easily.
Cool. Yeah. And to me, it was kind of a sleeper. I didn't hear much about it, to be honest. I think I had a friend who told me about it, but then I rarely heard anything more about it. And I'm kind of pleasantly surprised that a second season has come out, and we're going to be talking about it today. So thank you so much, you guys, for listening. We very much appreciate it. If you feel so inclined, please consider giving us a thumbs up on our YouTube page and a subscription, perhaps. That would really help us out. But without much further ado, let's just jump right into it, guys. The first episode, so this season's a little bit different than the first season. The first season had about 18 episodes, and the second season only had 8. And each of these episodes, I should probably explain for people who perhaps haven't seen it. Each of the episodes are kind of like a little vignette. They're their own encapsulated story. And what's unique about Love, Death, and Robots is that each episode has a different sort of animation style. And they vary widely from each episode as to the stories, but they all kind of have the same sort of through line of a dystopian, futuristic sort of society. And I think Dijon said it best. He said something like akin to Black Mirror, something very close to that. I think that's pretty appropriate. But right before I hand it off to you guys real quick, I want to say to our audience, this is a spoiler warning for volume 2 of Love, Death, and Robots. If you have not seen it and want to watch it without it being spoiled, please turn back now. If you don't mind it being spoiled or being talked about, then please continue to listen. Or if you've seen it and want to listen to us discuss it, please continue to listen. But yeah, Keelan, where do you want to start off this with? I know that there's 8 episodes. I feel like we should probably just start with episode 1. But you want to give your overall thoughts, or how do you want to start off?
I agree we should start with episode 1, but we can also give our overall thoughts. Seeing as how I saw season 1 volume 1 when it first came out, was pleasantly surprised. I too am just excited that there was a volume 2. Can't wait for volume 3, because now I'm just like anticipating that they're going to keep this up. And volume 2, I was surprised by, and we'll get into some of my likes and dislikes as we push through it. But I was surprised by with the content, so to speak, but in a pleasant way. Some things went a little more in depth than I anticipated. Some things were a little more shallow. And in my opinion, I think there were at least one more, just one very serious tone type of, like a tonal type of an episode. And I don't think there was any of that really in episode or volume 1. Mm-hmm. So I like that. I like that a lot.
Nice. Dijon, what about you? Let's get your overall sort of feelings up front.
Interesting enough, jumping into it. It was cool. It was refreshing, because thinking about like watching this made me thought about Black Mirror. And I was watching this with my wife, and she was like, yeah, it does remind me of Black Mirror. I was like, I couldn't watch Black Mirror because it was one of those things where it's like, it just really stick to the whole whole darker side of humanity, or where it can go. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this remind me of like, I mean, this is a weird comparison, but like an episode of like Parks and Recreation, where it's like shit can go bad, but there's some type of uplifting or positive notion to it at the end of the episode. I liked it. I mean, I totally liked it from my first experience. It was dope. Mm-hmm. And I can't, like Keelan said, I can't wait for a volume 3. And right now I'm actually backtracking and actually watching the first season of it. I'm halfway through it.
Nice. Yeah, I too definitely enjoyed this season. We were talking just a little bit before the show started. I think I prefer season 1 over season 2, but that's not to say season 2 isn't great, because I do think it is. I'll probably give a little bit more detail as to why I prefer season 1 over season 2 as we go along. But initial thoughts, first and foremost, I have to say that the animators who do this and the storyboard people are excellent. I think that even in the shortest of the stories that we get here, and some of them are quite short, there's still something interesting. There's still something kind of cool about it. And the animation styles for each episode is just incredible. I mean, I can't think about how long it takes to animate just a 13-minute clip, but it probably takes a long time. So big kudos to the people who make this show, and the animators and the storyboard artists. They all do a really incredible job. So yeah, I definitely think that we should just jump right into it. So there are 8 episodes in this volume, and episode 1 is called Automated Customer Service. Yes. I think this one was probably the funniest out of the entire season.
Yes.
This one kind of reminded me of season 1, episode 1, 3 Robots, which I think is one of the best episodes of all time. But it had a lot of comedy, and I really liked it. I liked the very grotesque sort of Pixar animation that was going on with the really big over exaggerated heads. And this story of this vacuum cleaner basically coming to life and trying to kill the old lady that lives in the house is hilarious. So Keelan, why don't you take us into this one?
So I love the automated customer service episode. I think I loved or liked at least every episode, but I loved this episode because it hit a lot of different hot points. The overtake of artificial intelligence, the corporate controlling of the overtake of artificial intelligence, and then, as usual with the neighbor, that one person or that one thing outside of everything that's popular and hip that's like, I'm not messing with that. I'm just over here and play with my analog guns.
I just gotta say, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
At the beginning, I'm sorry, when I was watching, I'm like, what is this dude doing while she's doing her yoga?
Yeah.
His arm was just like...
They did that on purpose for sure.
Oh, definitely. I mean, listen, think about this. Now, if we're even going to just even playing devil's advocate in that scenario, if you're an old man, you're single, and you live next to an old single woman, you both are retired, and you come from a time when something like that probably wasn't as weird as it is today. He could have very well been doing that if this were 40 years ago.
Well, maybe. Yeah. But luckily he wasn't.
Luckily he wasn't. But I think that was kind of the suggestion as well, with their age grouping, because these were older people dealing with artificial. So essentially, this is our generation in 50 years. Let's just call it 50 years, or in 30 years.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought was really funny too, was okay, so you're going to also toy with this whole idea of even in the future, nothing's really changed. People are going to tread that line some way.
Yeah. And I think this episode kind of perfectly encapsulates the humor around what Love, Death, and Robots is kind of offering. I don't know if our audience will be able to sort of get the reference, but I know you guys will. But it's similar to the humor in Fallout, where it's a very dark humor, but it's dry, and it's sort of because I'm thinking about the operator that the old lady is on with about the vacuum and the the operator just keeps saying, well, you've activated the vacuum bot's home defense system. Yeah. This means that the vacuum bot thinks this is its territory. Get out of the house now.
Anywhere the vacuum bot has scanned, it's now wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
No, yeah.
Absolutely. And even adding to that, what I loved at the end and I caught was so now she's defeated the vacuum bot. The operator's on the phone. It's it looks like you've defeated that vacuum bot and escaped. But every vacuum bot in the community or around is coming after you now.
Around the world. Yeah.
Yeah, from around. And it's what? And if you want this all to end, just buy the executive package vacuum bot. What? You're going to scare me into buying more? I think not, buddy.
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing. I really enjoy that type of humor where it's it's the smiling as you're about to die. It's that corporate face of death right there. It's so good. It's so good. Dijon, what did you think?
I loved it. On them key points, yeah, the whole generation thing. Me and my wife were sitting there looking. She's like, this is gonna be our generation.
Yep.
This is our generation. If not, maybe be our son's generation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, well, it's something to look forward to in life.
Yeah. You're gonna have vacuum-bot fights when you're in your 80s.
Right. I love the humor in it, especially for this episode, because it definitely hit Q notes for us as our regular life, especially with the pandemic and everything that's going on. It's like, man, fuck, we can't get come on. Most people working from home. Can't we get some fucking humans here on customer service?
Right.
But I got to do a chat thing and I'm just getting super annoyed.
Yeah. It's a robot trying to save you from a robot. Yeah.
Right.
The best part when she was like, when the customer service robot rep was like, if you want to talk to an actual human, you're going to have to wait 6 hours. I'm like,
right.
Sounds about right.
About that part. Yeah, sounds definitely about right. If you're lucky, you might get it down to 2.5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, do you guys have anything else you wanted to add about that episode? Anything that stood out to you? Anything you liked?
I appreciated that.
The dog was amazing.
The dog was great. I appreciated that her and the neighbor escaped together.
Yes, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, and they're in their little golf cart. It kind of reminded me, like, are they living in a futuristic Palm Springs? Because it kind of looked like a futuristic Palm Springs, or like they're driving a golf cart.
Yeah, somewhere out Orange County. Yeah, definitely.
One thing, the tone is that because I noticed we're getting to see a lot of this for a lot of TV shows, movies about like the whole women independent thing, and I think it played the beats right for this old lady to be badass and not have to worry about that whole masculinity thing of man just coming in and saving her. Like she grabbed that shotgun and just went totally down on that shit. I was like, look at Sarah Connor over there.
Yeah, did the skillet in her Dodge. Ugh.
Yeah, my question is, why does a vacuum need a microwave that can microwave fish? I mean, that poor fish never stood a chance, man. It just got microwave beamed.
Hey, man, when you want everything in one, you run that risk.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. That's fair. When you want to have convenience, sometimes you got to have a death bot.
Right. I'm sure it only had microwaves on it because it has the capabilities of microwaving,
reheating your food. Yeah, totally. It's like serving you. Oh man, this is a disaster. I do not recommend this feature.
All right.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are indeed. Let's head on to episode 2. This one was called Ice. Keelan, do you want to give us a rundown of this one?
So episode 2, Ice, is about two brothers. Essentially, this family they're no longer on Earth. They've gone to a different planet. And on this planet, everyone is modded, with the exception of this one kid who is the older brother of, I forget his brother's name.
Yeah, I forgot the characters' names.
Right. So you have the two brothers. One is genetically modified. Their names are, I don't remember. But so you have the modded brother, and what I think is really cool about this is the dad. You have the typical mom-dad setup. Dad wants his son to be better and bigger and stronger, and mom's like, give him a break. But I don't think he's so much worried about that. He just wanted to be accepted by his brother, and that's what I really loved about this episode, was that camaraderie between brothers. So that is my layout to this episode. You guys can give us your feedback, and I'll go last on this one.
Yeah, go ahead, Dijon.
It was pretty.
Yeah,
it was pretty as hell. It was like it was a different tone for sure. And I think this is what I love about the series so far. It's everything is its own thing, its own beat, its own theme. And I like the whole brotherly love thing. Just think about that, and it's like I can still be useful or just have a meaningful life where I can contribute. Even if I don't have to be a part of the scene or just a part of the fab right now. Like I just want to be me.
Yeah,
and it did a great job of it. From beyond the discrimination he kind of got from his brother friends to jumping into just being like, hey, dude, you outrun them whales like it ain't shit without being modded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and carried your brother away to safety. Yeah.
Yep.
I definitely enjoyed the visuals of this episode. Again, it was a very steep, whereas the first episode was very kind of like Pixar-esque. This one was, I kind of reminded me of the Gorillas. That early 2000s animation, almost like a Linkin Park or a Gorillas music video. But yeah,
or a Powerpuff Girl cartoon.
Or that, yeah, heavy outlines, a lot of
don't mention the Powerpuff Girls right now. we're going through some shit. I can't wait to talk about that later.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, I enjoyed this episode. It wasn't a banger for me, to be honest. Maybe it could have been the artistic style, or maybe it's just a very small story, so I guess that it's fine in in and of itself. I did like the sort of like, the message of family and brotherly love, and sort of like the capabilities of doing it, organically versus synthetically. I think that was kind of a cool concept, and it just makes me wonder too. It's like, man, humans in the future are going to be living in some bleak conditions. Right. If they start going off to other planets like that, and you have to live on some ice planet where like giant whales break through the ice every night,
right,
man, what's that going to be like?
Could be fun for the right people.
Could be fun for the people who want to run away from it. Yeah.
Right. And with that, I think that's the thing about this particular season is it's almost a slippery slope if you pay attention to it. It's like, this can get really dark. We have to be very cautious of, because to me, a lot of these episodes, maybe not every last one of them, but a lot of the episodes are about the destruction of self.
Yeah.
Big time.
How we are our own enemies. And so with this episode, as I stated at the beginning, and we all have said, the brotherly love, the camaraderie, doing it organically. I really appreciated, though, how there was never any inkling from the brother that wasn't modded that he wanted to be modded. Mm-hmm. Like, he never once thought, like, made the statement or had that, like, if only I was like them. Like, nope. The whole time it was like, no, I don't want that. I just want to hang out like everybody else. Can I hang out? Can I do that?
Just live a normal life. Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that was, I think we executed that one perfectly. I really am at a loss. I have nothing else to say about that episode other than that.
I think that's fair.
You guys said everything else.
Yeah. Dejan, do you have anything else on that episode?
No.
I think it's a pretty straightforward one.
It was a straightforward thing, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Just reminded us of what we can still go through, and on a daily basis of just peer pressure. We're just trying to be accepted.
Mm-hmm. Right. Definitely. Yeah.
It was a nice message.
It is, yeah. Interesting. And this is why I love vignettes so much. It's because you have to take kind of like complex ideas and distill them into a very small clip, a very small short story. And like it's chock full of definitely metaphor and symbolism and all of that stuff. But yeah, let's jump into the third episode. I have to think I'm probably going to say this is the one I rated the most highly. It's called Pop Squad, and this was a heavy episode, man. I don't even know. I mean, like, this is something where I'm like, dude, this could happen,
Yes.
And we, like it doesn't even take that much for this to happen. So I'll just paint the picture for you guys, and then we can jump it off. This is set in a sort of future in which humans decide that they can have immortality through medicine and all of that stuff. But the trade-off for immortality is that you're not allowed to have children anymore, because they want to keep the population of humans that isn't dying, alive. And so new people can't be made, because then we'll overpopulate the earth. Well, the main character in this one is, I guess, like a detective for, He's like the Gestapo. He's like a Nazi looking for people that have had children, and then he kills them. And yeah,
looks like Andrew Brody.
Adrian Brody.
Andrew Brody.
Yeah, it did a little bit. Yeah, I kind of looked like a little bit like that for sure. But like it kind of shocked me a little bit. So like his job is to basically find people, and we find out too that there's like a 2-tier society. Everybody that lives on the ground is the poors, and then everybody who's rich lives up in the clouds.
Up in it,
the whole mountain thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Not like Brazil. Brazil is the other way around.
The opposite. It's kind of like in what LA is like, right? All the rich people live up in the hills and everybody else lives in the ground. But this main character basically his job is to kill people who have children naturally. And he goes through this whole thing where, he kind of has a change of heart and decides that he's going to save somebody in the name of allowing her to have a child. And I won't go into any further. I want to get your guys' input, but I think that kitchen scene with the woman and her child was probably one of the best scenes of all of the entire series. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dijon. I'll follow up.
Personally, this was my favorite one as well. It has a lot of meaning, and just thinking about something I read when someone made a comment on Facebook not too long ago about who cares? We need to stop populating. We're having too many kids. I'm like, whoa.
You don't even know the science behind any of that.
And I'm like, I'm looking at this person. I'm like, to the person who don't have kids, I'm like,
it's easy to say, right?
That's easy to say. And I think it's an issue. I mean, I don't want to get all super conspiracy theory and shit right now, but it's like it's an idea. When we don't have war, let's have a pandemic just to depopulate it. And we seeing this heaviness in certain countries like China and India, but that's a whole other thing. But I think it's just a tidbit to say, the world sincerely might go that way. Then we have people that sincerely think that way. And beyond that, I think the tone, which I do love for this whole season, is losing yourself, being less human.
Losing humanity.
And I seen that in most of the episodes, and in this episode and mainly the last episode, which we'll get to, and it's like it's true, and it hit those notes where that kitchen scene where she's like, you feel something. It's like, damn, you get immortality just to become numb. Well, so
that's what time will do to you. No, I mean, it's incredible. Before Keelan goes, I just want to say I totally agree with you about this whole overpopulation thing. It bugs me too, and I blame Agent Smith from The Matrix for that. I've called it the Agent Smith syndrome for a while now, and it's this notion that we should just get rid of the humans on this planet because the world would be better off. I hate it. It's stupid. I don't know.
And weirdly enough, just thinking about it, it's been like an ongoing theme, and I'm like, I think a lot of these directors, these writers, these people that create shit, these artists, these performers, all of these people, I think they're telling us something. And yet it's one movie I did enjoy. I forget the name of it. Something. Sorry for calling you, or something like that.
Sorry for bothering you.
Yeah. And in that movie, I think it was Danny Glover that basically he says it while they're watching like this violent TV show, and he's like, people love this shit. And you know what? It distracts them, and it distracts them from the real issues that are going on, and we become numb. And it's totally true.
Why is one of the biggest pop culture icons of the past decade somebody who wanted to kill half of the universe?
Exactly. We've seen it in the Avengers movie just lately too.
Yeah.
Destruction is king. That's all that is.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Keelan, what are your thoughts?
To see the Empire fall. So my thoughts on the Pop Squad episode. So first off, again, like you guys said, everything perfect. Tone, the setup, the kitchen scene, the scene where he really has that moment of touchy-feely and he's playing with the daughter. Mom goes for the gun. I'm like, yo, you almost just got you and your kid killed.
Yeah.
But this is a new situation for her as much as it's a new situation for him to feel it.
Mm-hmm. And
I think, like you said, Nick, time lends to the numbness, right? But what lends to the returning of his humanity? And I thought about that little shop he went to where he found the dinosaur, and then that's how he found the lady who was purchasing the train. Did you guys catch the name of the store or the name of the brand?
Ipswich.
Yeah. IPS Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, so the Ipswich, whatever an Ipswich is probably that dinosaur was hexed in somewhere, because these are relics from 200 years ago, 2,000 years ago. So this would be, that's how, I think that was their tip to how long it is, how far in the future we are, right? For this,
it was like I think it was 200 years in the future. Yeah.
Right. So we're 200 years in the future, which means these are our great grandkids who are hunting down kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So these are our toys. Now let's just think about the energies and all of that. If you were to believe in that, now the kid, this baby, what if the baby hexed him, and that's how he ended up getting to that store and finding that lady?
The baby hexed him.
I don't know. With the dinosaur, when he held up the dinosaur, what if it was a hex from the Ipswich?
I will tell you a fun Easter egg. This episode and the last episode are in the same universe, because you see the Ipswich collectibles shop in the last episode.
Actually,
so and you get
you
see it with the giant's bone on it over top of it. So it's in the same universe, those two episodes. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, which makes sense because like the animation is kind of close. This was actually one I want to also say. This is the first episode where I'm like, is this live action? The animation is getting so good that I can, like, sometimes if the lighting is right, I couldn't tell if it was live action or not.
No. That's that Xbox Series X graphics.
What's that?
It's that Xbox Series X graphics.
That's what they wish they would be.
It's that 8K, that Halo Infinite.
Yeah, the Halo Infinite coming in 10 years.
Save the graphics. The graphics praise for the next episode. We're not there yet.
That is true. Very true. Yeah, the graphics were amazing going forward, especially in all of these more like live action ones. There's another one coming up
I forgot for a minute.
Incredible.
But I'll tell you guys who I thought he was once we get to that episode. So Pop Squad though. Pop Squad. I love that episode. I like how it ended. I like how it ended. What I did not like about how it ended. So two things. One thing I like about how it ended. So he exits. He's letting the lady and her kid live. He sees the other Pop Squad murderer, whatever we want to call him, and immediately knows what he has to do. Takes her out. She hits him too. He dies. So I didn't like that he just dropped right there. He only got shot in the shoulder.
Yeah, it did look like he only got shot in the shoulder. You know what I mean? But yeah.
But I've never been shot in the shoulder, so forgive me if But at the exact same time, I did like that 2 people were gone and 2 people got to live.
Yeah, that's true. It is kind of like that balance that they were talking about before. That's even the mother says, like, oh, kill me and let her live, you know, because the mother had even lived like 200 years or something like that. And she just decided to stop taking the rejuvenation medicine, you know?
The reju.
Oh, yeah, the reju.
Thanos was in the background with that little knife.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. Well, yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite episodes. Not of both series, but this is definitely my favorite of this season for sure. I really enjoyed it. I thought that it was very heavy. It could have been a movie. You know, kind of reminded me a little bit of Children of Men, mixed with like Westworld a little bit, and like, you know, just some other dystopian Brave New World a little bit too. Throw it all together, and you got this weird soup of dystopia. But yeah, let's jump on to the next one. This one was pretty incredible too, I gotta say. It's called episode 4 was called Snow in the Desert. And yes, you're right, Keelan. This is the one where I literally couldn't tell if it was live action or animated. It was the graphics were that good. Yeah.
What's the guy from James Bond? Really quick, the 007 guy.
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. Did this guy not look like Daniel Craig, or was that Daniel Craig animated?
A little bit. It looked a little bit like him. Yeah. I don't think it was modeled after him. It could have been though. Yeah. But let's start with Dijon. What did you think about Snow in the Desert?
Snow in the Desert. Which one was this?
It's about that dude, that the albino dude in the. Yeah.
Honestly, I liked it. I thought it was what I'm about to say. I thought it was kind of cute.
Mm-hmm. I thought so too. Actually,
yeah. I understand.
Yeah. The ending was pretty cute. Yeah, this one actually reminded me a lot of Star Wars. To be honest, yes. I thought this one fit right into the Star Wars universe.
I thought it was a piece of the Mandalorian that was inserted.
Yeah, definitely.
It was like the Mandalorian meet Westworld in a sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You guys keep making these Westworld references. What are you? No, I'm joking.
I'll tell you, I haven't seen Westworld, but I have seen clips of it.
Just watch season 1 and then stop. Then you'll be good.
Then stop.
Yeah, you don't need to watch any of the rest. Actually, season 1 is excellent by itself. Yeah, but this one definitely fit into the Star Wars universe for me. I really like the sort of like Tatooine-esque desert planet where he's basically trading for strawberries because he didn't have any from he's not on Earth anymore. And so is he like a vampire? I mean, he does live on. I did like the concept of the day tent where it's like too hot in the daytime, so you have to be in this like cryo tent in order to survive.
That was really cool. Still very Star Wars-esque. Mm-hmm. I think he's just an immortal human being. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was anything really outside of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you guys want to add anything else to this one?
Yeah, it's really weird. As great as this episode was, there's not really much to say about it. I liked the whole aspect of him being immortal, having the healing factor. But with it having that Star Wars temperature, we expected it to be as good as it was, and it lived up to the hype. Mm-hmm. Added to that, I do like that you have this immortal character that lost his wife 100+ years ago and assumes that he'll never be able to find any type of sanity in that realm ever again. And you find this seemingly synthetic humanoid that you find out was an actual human being who was in a bad accident, but I guess had the money and was smart enough to have this suit built around what was left of their brain and spinal column. Mm-hmm. So I thought all of that was really cool, like well put together, well thought out. But outside of that, yeah. You expected all the murder. You expected the bounty hunters to come after him. It wasn't much to not expect. The only unexpected part was her not being human.
Right.
And that really made
the last part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this was the first moment.
Yeah, if she was human, it was just cliche.
Right. This is the first episode you get robot sex too. So good on Love, Death, and Robots.
That's why I kept in our chat, and that's why I kept calling it Love, Death plus sex bots.
See, when I saw that scene, it reminded me of that one sit down and talk scene in The Boys about the ice girl.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when he froze his dick off.
Yeah. It's called liquid nitrogen. Like, come on.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really what that reminded me of. Other than that, again, I actually think that might be maybe not my favorite, one of my favorite episodes. Probably top 3. Yeah. But I don't really have much to say about it, honestly.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Yeah. Same here. I know once he got to the end, that whole bounty hunter came up to his place. I was just like, I was just waiting for this moment, like, man, she just want to have sex with him because she wants them.
I thought she was going to try to kill him.
I want that. She wanted that semen in her just to like pop another baby out or something. Or like at the end of it, she's coming up and I'm like, she's going to shoot him. Then like, nope, she get blasted on in the head. And I'm just like, and later, it was like fucking fatality, Kano style. And I'm just like,
Kano style.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. This is cool.
Yeah, I hope that they go back to
That's
Earth
good.
and live happily ever after.
Oh, they're not going back to Earth. They're too badass. And you see that amazing place?
I know, that was pretty sweet. Yeah.
Like, I
I'm now
got
trying
all
to
the
figure out,
water
how do
I
you have
need.
that view and nobody sees you? I don't know, but
And how does he stay? I mean, like, I thought that the sun being outside at the, during the sunshine was killing people. But then, like, they were out in the sun and everything was okay the next day.
I think it's only at a certain time.
That's
Like
what the strawberries do.
you have the hot sun in the day. It's like Escanor. Around high noon, he can't move. He gonna destroy the whole Earth if he walk.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, maybe it was noon when they had to go into the tent. That makes sense. But yeah, do you guys got anything else you want to add for that episode?
That's all I got.
For sure. Let's move on to episode 5. It's called The Tall Grass. This one's kind of cool. I mean, this one's a little bit, I think this is one of the shorter ones in this season. And I really enjoyed the animation on this one as well. It kind of reminded me of like stop motion on acid a little bit. Like a
the Telltale games.
Yeah, it was very trippy. The animation style was very cool. And yeah, it's a man is on a train, and the train stops in a field of tall grass, and then all sorts of craziness ensues when he goes outside, of course. This one was cool. I thought it was nice. It was short. I didn't think it needed to be any longer than it was. Of course, the tall grass is full of demons, and he gets lost in it for a bit, only to be saved by the train conductor. Thank goodness.
The same train conductor that told him not to wander.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yes, he gave him a fair warning. He said, "Don't go out into the tall grass," but of course, he was going to go do that. But yeah, who you guys want to? Hey, Keelan, you want to say anything about this one?
I would like to say cigarettes are never that important.
Right. Don't get caught in the tall grass.
Yes. Right. Never walk towards the light. And be lucky that there's always an old man with a torch somewhere that knows what's going on.
Yes, absolutely. And it's so true. Don't walk in tall grass if it's that tall, you guys. It is actually very easy to get lost in that stuff. So don't do that.
Especially been into a cornfield.
Yeah, cornfield the same way. Yeah.
Right. I'm going to say I walked near exactly what I was going to say. I walked near a cornfield one time. I just walked near it and I was like, whoa. Yeah,
I mean, they go on forever. Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I can say is I would never try to walk through that. Like, what idiot? If I don't have a John Deere sit down tractor to where I can.
Yeah. Right.
Nope.
Not interested. Sir. Yeah.
And mind you, I seen that. I didn't see it from like I was easily still about 10 feet away from it, and it was huge.
Dijon, what do you think?
I liked it. I liked the art style of it. I was kind of pissing me off because I wanted him to die.
Right.
Sorry. He as an individual, he was just fucking stupid. Like, he was just, all the writing was on the wall, man. Like, he was not warned only once, but twice. And then it's just like, seriously, dude, like, hey, man, smoke your cigarette, chill right there.
Get back on the train.
But no, dude.
Yeah.
Just no. I was like, this is one of these moments where I'm like,
Yeah, he was asking for it for sure.
Hey, John P. Peddlesworth can do no wrong.
Yeah, of course not. Of course. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much for me. I don't really think that. As I said, I like the art style. I like the kind of like the little small story of it. I thought that the putty zombies were kind of creepy looking. Yeah.
It's
like if Putties and a Slenderman had a baby.
Yes, I was thinking the exact same thing. Yeah, totally.
You know what? Actually, so I just remembered those weren't demons; those were vampires.
Maybe.
In volume 1, you have the Dracula episode.
Yes, I do like that episode.
And they look like the vampires after they drink a little blood and they start having that armor form around their body and face.
Maybe, yeah. I would like to see a little bit more interconnectivity within the universes. I think there probably are more Easter eggs that I missed. So that'll make me want to kind of go back and watch all the episodes again, because I'm sure there's more interconnectivity in these universes for sure. But yeah, I thought it was good. It was short. It was the perfect length. It didn't need to go on any longer because, like, as you said, either kill the guy or let him get to safety. And they did.
Right.
So, But yeah, what do you got, Keelan? Anything
Yeah,
else?
I was gonna go on from there to the next one. Just how they, the next episode we have is called
I love this
All
one.
Through the House, and I think they kind of played from one to this one, from that one to this one, and maybe even to the next one, but from that one to this one perfectly. Like it was almost seamless to have the demon, vampire, but evil-esque notion introduced to then go into the All Through the House episode. And so for those who haven't seen it or who just need a recap, the All Through the House episode is about Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
But if you watch this episode, you find out that that image that Coca-Cola created isn't the Santa Claus that really exists. But luckily for these kids that are in the house, Santa Claus operates the way that you were always told. He just doesn't look like what we were told he looks like.
Possibly the most terrifying rendition of Santa Claus I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
To be honest,
I'll take Krampus. I'll take Krampus.
For real, dude. That thing was so creepy. And like, I first of all, I love that it was modeled after the Rudolph, the old Rudolph movies. You know, like they had the same sort of claymation with the hair. Wow. It was modeled right off of those movies. And man, I don't think I've ever seen a more terrifying depiction. You know what it reminded me of? Like Pan's Labyrinth with the face eyes and all, hand eyes or whatever.
Yep,
dude, just the way he did that, like, good. And then he throws up the presents. I love that, dude. Oh my god, yeah. Deshaun, what'd you think?
I was like, what the fuck? But I was just like, this shit is dope.
It is
dope. I'm looking at my wife. I'm like, I'm showing our son this shit.
Right. That's right.
Like, get your shit together.
Right, exactly.
That's the only Santa
Claus is getting you. That's
right.
Santa Claus.
This is the only Santa Claus my kids are gonna know about.
Right.
And
Stay good.
And she's just like, no, don't do that. I'm like, I can't put hands on him. That's what's going to do it.
That's just going to be the one they got to be mad about, because that's going. All the kids are getting shown this one. I don't care if you get mad.
Yeah. I think it was just so good. The way how creepy Santa Claus was.
Extra creepy.
Just amazing.
Well, and so here's where I really fell in love with the episode, right? So of course, we get the creepiness, and then you get the tentacle comes out and he drinks the milk, and it's like, oh, that is Santa Claus. Oh, that's creepy. All right, cool. Attacks the kids, quote unquote, comes over there, has the Leah or whatever her name is, and gives her present. It's the boy, William. Good. Give him his present. Stay good.
Stay good. I love that.
Right, he freaks out, opens his present, and it's exactly what I wanted. They lay in his bed later, still staring at the ceiling.
Traumatized.
Right.
That ending was priceless.
What would happen if we weren't good?
Yeah.
Don't want to know. I don't want to know now.
I do too.
I want to know.
Yeah. Listen, if that's how it is for adults, guess what? I'm always gonna be good. I don't want to find out either.
No, me neither, man. That was so great. I really enjoyed that one. Yeah, very top notch for me.
That was number one for me.
Nice. Yeah. I think it's appropriate because it has that sort of like creepy, dark humor, very disturbing, dystopian sort of feel to it. Yeah.
And it was, and I was having this discussion with my wife, and I was like, trying to figure out where does that roll into the whole love, death, and robots. I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I love it.
Right. Me too.
I'm pretty sure that was love. That was love.
Right. Yeah. Or death. Love or death.
Love or love.
It could be either.
Yeah.
The love of death. Huh?
Yeah.
That train set was the robot.
Yeah, that's right. I love that boy. He was just like, it's just what I always wanted.
Right.
They're just so traumatized. Oh man, it's so good. Definitely a must watch if you guys haven't seen that one. It's incredible for sure. Let's jump on to the next one if you guys are good with that. This one I also thought was really good. Another episode where I was like, is this live action or animation? I couldn't tell. And it's called Life Hutch. Who wants to? Dijon, do you want to run this one down?
Is this the one with Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah.
And they cheated with that because that was another hard way to tell if it was real or not for a minute. Because we actually know this actor.
Yes. I mean, but it was like a rendering of him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll tell you this. That's the only one I did not like.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm on board with that.
And my wife was saying, you just don't like it because you don't like Michael B. Jordan. I'm like, I didn't say that. It's not that I don't like the man. I mean, he's sexy and all compared to I love handles. But it's just for me, he goes into that category for certain actors and actresses where it's just like, I feel like I'm watching the same dude. Like I'm like, and people are just like, well, he knows his gimmick, and I'm like, yeah, I can't hate him for that. But for me, I'm just like, okay, cool, Michael B. Jordan, whatever. I'm like, I got nothing against the dude. He's making his money. He's making his bread. That's cool. But for me, everything I've seen him in just feels like the same thing. I don't know if that killed it for me, but it was just, there was nothing for me there. It wasn't like a real theme, nothing to set anything for me to care. It was just one of those things, like it was a typical malfunction robot. Yeah. And it really wasn't out to kill humans. It was just literally malfunctioning and just fucked him up in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. But the storytelling just felt like it was kind of all over the place. Like it just kind of like just kept backtracking. Yeah. Kept backtracking and jumping. I'm just like,
it did jump a couple times.
Yeah. You know, I totally agree. That's really where I disliked it. And when I say I disliked it, I mean, compared to all the other episodes in the volume, as far as of 8, it was my 8th favorite of the 8. That's a nice way to say it was last, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't dislike the episode because it was bad in the sense of, oh man, they shouldn't have made it, right? I see what they did. I understand what they did. I would have enjoyed it if they went a little bit of a different route. I'll say that. And I'm sorry. You're not going to tell me that the artificial intelligence is so far advanced that you're basically relying on it on different planets and space traveling and all the blah, 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 blah. But you're going to flash a flashlight at its knee and it's going to attack itself.
No, he did the laser pointer, man. It was a kitty cat.
Flashlight.
The robot was actually a cat.
It was. It was a robot cat. Yes. Or it was a T-Rex, right? The don't move. It can't see you if you don't move. Yeah.
Well, and okay, that was the other thing is I like and dislike how they also played on Michael B. Jordan's strong facial features in his acting. So it's like, oh, if he doesn't make any facial moves or anything, then he's perfectly still. So he's inanimate. Right. Or he's that good of a face actor in animation too.
Well, I'm sure they give him a little help on that one for sure. I mean, like, I didn't necessarily dislike it. Like, I don't know if it's in my top favorites for sure. I definitely liked kind of like the closed in sort of concept, but this is a less funny version of the first episode, right? Like, this is a killer robot that's trying to kill you, and this is much more dramatic than the first episode, which was much more comedic. I did like sort of the brutality concept of the robot. I liked when he stomped on his hand and he had to just sit there and take it because, like if you move, you're dead. And, the robot doesn't know any better. So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, it definitely wasn't one of the stronger. It wasn't one of the stronger episodes. There was no overarching theme or any sort of message. It was just kind of was its like own little thing. Which, for what it was, I was pretty entertained. But yeah, not going to be on the top list for me.
For sure. And that's pretty much all I have on the Life Hutch episode. Yeah, again, I think it was very cool of them to add Michael B. Jordan. I don't think it went as far as they expected it to.
Yeah, I mean, there's also only so much you can do in 12 minutes. So,
correct.
Correct. Which it makes it tough, right? Like if you have to distill everything down into 12 minutes, you need to make sure that 12 minutes is just popping the entire time.
Well, that's what probably the 12 minutes went to for his paycheck.
That's true.
12 minutes.
Yeah. Hey, you want me to cry on command? You're
right.
gonna have to pay.
I mean, hey, it's just like doing a TV show. 2 minutes less. That's all.
That's right. That's right.
No
That is
commercials,
true.
so who's
Yeah,
complaining?
fair enough. That is
Hey,
fair.
that's why we only probably got 8 episodes for this season. It's because of him.
Yeah,
Yeah, they had to pay out some money.
And
Paying the Disney checks.
He did hell of a lot of advertising for this season, I've noticed.
Well,
Oh,
but
did he?
yeah, keep in mind though,
okay.
he's also in like 2 or 3 other movies right now on other platforms, so I'm sure he's making everybody pay.
He's making everybody pay. Well, as well you should. If you're in demand, why not? Right?
Oh yeah,
that's what Creed did do to you. And followed up with Black
That's
Panther.
true.
Yeah. And if we must say it, proud of him.
And Fantastic Four, he was in that too.
Oh yeah,
I didn't watch that. I don't think I want to watch it yet.
That was Tony too, wasn't it?
What's that?
That was Sony too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No, that was Fox.
Was it Fox?
Oh,
that was Fox.
Right.
All
right.
Fox. Dark Phoenix style. Fuck that shit up.
Get it right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Let's
right.
let's round it out with the last episode, guys. This one was the kind of the saddest one, I think. I didn't know where it was going at the beginning, and I kind of at the beginning I was like, oh, this is dumb. And then I started watching it more and I was like, oh damn. Like this is touching some really deep concepts here. And it's what is it called? The Drowned Giant. And basically this is just all about a giant that's drowned, that washes up on a beach, and normal people find this naked giant washed up on their beach, and it's just this man who kind of recants the tale of what happens to this giant. First, people are interested, and they're climbing on top of this dead giant and using him as a slide and all of this stuff. And then over time, his body becomes more and more desecrated. They start graffitiing on him, and then after a while, they just dismember him and take all of his body parts. And literally, they really do. And I thought it was really interesting. It was kind of deep to me. I'm like, you know what it was? I was so caught up on like the physical, like the immediate sort of message that I didn't really understand the deeper metaphors here. But there's a really interesting commentary about how we treat novelty and how we kind of regard things that we find novel or fun. It's like it's all fun, and then it loses its interest and its thing, and then people use it and corrupt it into something else, and then it just becomes this like shell of what it once was. And so I thought that this was really interesting, kind of sad, but what did you guys think?
I liked the episode. I liked what it presented. For the people who tried to find something in it, like you were saying, it presented and hit so many different avenues. One of the things I took from it was just that looking at the season in whole, like in retrospect, right? So you go from thinking how important you are and all the other things of living forever, and then the Santa Claus episode for me kind of rounded it out into the things that you think are beautiful are probably ugly, but still what you think they are. And then the things that you think, some of the other things that you think are beautiful are ultra detrimental to you. And it's kind of hard to tell the difference unless you're a part of it. So when you get to this giant, for me, that's kind of bringing it all full circle, like life and death. This giant that's so similar to the human beings, like he said a few times, they are smaller replicas of him. And how they were just amazed and marveled at it. Even the people who walked on it, talking about, oh, his skin is, it's so rubbery. It's skin and flesh, just like yours.
Yeah.
But that disconnect was there. And I think that was, the way that they tied the entire season together, just how much disconnect there is between the average human being. And that's how you get to all the other things that happen through one another. And that's how you get everything else that happened throughout the season.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think it was a little bit macabre, like this concept of people like playing on a corpse, because if that was a normal sized body, people wouldn't be climbing on it or trying to inspect it or look at it. Yeah, they'd be freaking out. So there is something about that concept of being removed. Like, what is the thing? What is it that we remove that we remove from something that gives it less, immediacy? Because like if that was a whale washed up on the ocean, do you think people would be climbing on it and
there's organizations to stop you from doing that?
Right, exactly. So it's interesting that, you know, like there's this concept of like, oh well, because it's a giant, it's kind of like us, so we have the ability to sort of treat it like a thing,
right?
You know.
Did anyone else find it interesting that there was no talk of doing research or scientific data on the?
No. None.
No, which was crazy. I think it was just one of those things. Definitely the metaphor of like losing our humanity.
Mm-hmm.
They just,
the curiosity leaves.
Yeah, or just respecting it altogether. Just respecting one another as individuals.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, there's something to be said. I mean, like, you know, and I think there's something to be said too about humans, you know, in our customs and our traditions, we are so careful about not desecrating corpses. And so I think it was interesting that, you know, these people would be so cavalier about dismembering a giant's body and using his body parts as a feature, you know.
Right. Right.
Well, quite literally for one of his body parts.
Right.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting on that. I was waiting for that shit.
Yeah.
Like, wait, you were waiting for? Oh, you know what circus that's in? You were waiting on the Antiques Roadshow? I'm confused. No,
the whole penis thing. I'm like,
I know what you're talking about.
I'm like,
you knew it was inevitable. Yeah.
Then I was just like, damn, like, oh, that's a whale dick. Okay.
That's what I thought was so funny. Like, why would you? All right, it's a whale. What?
I'm like, who they? I'm like, they got to get to that. That's.
Yeah. And this is the episode that you see the Ipswich collectibles. They have one of the giant's bones over over the shop.
I did not notice that till you pointed it out. I was like,
yeah,
shit,
that's dope right there.
Yeah, which is kind of cool because then you can kind of put together a timeline of maybe what happens, and maybe what we find out over the next seasons is we get a timeline if you piece things together of what actually happened to humanity. That would be kind of cool. Like I would be interested in seeing if you could piece together the certain episodes that tie together, it tells you a story of what happened to humanity.
That is nice. I see what you did there.
That'd be pretty sweet.
And it's plausible. It's highly plausible.
Definitely. Well, yeah, do you guys want to wrap it up? I wanted to wrap it up with one question because I don't think we didn't get to give season 1 any love. So I want to ask you guys what your favorite episode of season 1 is. Ooh. And just lay it on me so far. I don't know if Dijon's only halfway through, but
I'm halfway. I think the last episode I stopped on was the weird demon thing in Russia. And they took that whole horde out of demons.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And that was it. Then I stopped. Probably finish up the rest of it either today or tomorrow.
For sure.
So I can't give that answer yet, but I can say so far. Actually, I can't. So far would probably be the...
I know what it's going to be.
I'm stuck between right now, which was trippy to me, and I wanted some more thoughts, was the whole space thing.
That one was good.
I was just like, okay.
The Aquila Rift.
That one and the whole fucking Rockham's fucking Red Steel type shit with the monsters.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
So
that was season 1 was good in a different way, too. Man.
Yeah, I got to come back to you guys on the rest of that for now.
Oh, I thought it was going to be the yogurt.
You know what? I'm so sorry. That yogurt shit was amazing, especially that one scene.
I love the yogurt episode. It's so funny.
That shit blew my mind.
Takes over the world.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this. I went into after that episode. I went into the fridge, got me some fucking some what do you call that shit? Honey bunches of oats.
Nice. Yeah.
And my wife is like, she does what you do. You throw a scoop of yogurt in your cereal with milk. I'm like, it's good. How do you think the parfait got made?
That's right.
How do you think the parfait with ice cream? I don't know.
Yeah.
Something. It's good.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Actually, that is my favorite episode. It catches you off guard.
So funny.
Man, I don't know if I could choose one. Can I give two at least? I like the whole series. I like the whole.
I mean, the series is incredible. But yeah, go ahead, man. Which ones do you like?
Okay, so I like all of them. Let's start with that. But my favorite ones, the Zima Blue episode, the very last episode.
That one is incredible, man. I love that episode. Yeah,
there's so much detail and artistry to it that it's almost like impossible to tell without just saying go watch it.
Yeah.
But if I had to like so the Sucker of Souls, the Dracula episode.
That one's great.
I really that one was I just love that one. Then you have the Dump episode. The Fish episode was amazing for visuals. It was amazing. Everything was amazing. The Werewolf episode, all of it.
It was all very good. I will have to say that my two favorites are Three Robots. I think is probably like the perfect encapsulation for a first episode of this series for sure. Them, basically three robots going on a tour of the post-apocalyptic world and speculating about what humans were like. And, it's just so funny. They find a basketball and like they bounce it once and they're like, I don't get it,
right?
And they find a cat and they're like, what do humans like about these things so much?
They explode.
They explode. Yeah. If you don't pet them. And definitely the Zima Blue episode. The Zima Blue episode is probably one of the most artistic, existential episodes of anything I've seen, to be honest. It really kind of stands out of, like, not even just in the series of Love, Death, and Robots. Like, that episode in particular could be its own thing, and it would probably be regarded as a work of art for sure. I think that story is just incredible.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dijon hasn't seen it yet, so we can't spoil the ending for him. Yes.
Forget.
Yes.
So, Dijon, did you get to the alternate histories episode?
I love that one too.
No,
I don't think so.
Oh,
that one's great. Yeah.
Just know Hitler is hilarious. Don't quote me on that. Just watch.
Right.
Alternate Histories, which is volume 1 of Love, Death, Robots.
Dude, I'm all love for it after watching Preacher and how they made Hitler the new Satan and the reason why he made the Holocaust and World War II came into place. I'm down for some more Hitler fun.
Hey, listen, I'll watch anything with Hitler and pineapples.
Gotta watch Preacher.
Right. South Park.
That's right.
If the name South Park, check out Preacher and how he deals with it.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Right. Good shit. All right, guys. Well, let's give our final results, our final grades, our final scores for Love, Death, Robots Season 2, Volume 2. Let's even just do it for Volume 1 and Volume 2. That way we can see kind of like a juxtaposition and kind of compare it. I know that Dijon hasn't finished Volume 1, but he can give us enough of an informed opinion. Mm-hmm. So, Keelan, why don't you start off?
Volume 1, I'll give it 8.5. Like, it was near perfect, if not perfect. I haven't watched the whole thing again in a while, been a little bit, but from what I remember, and if I were to watch it again, I might give it a 9. So I'll give it an 8.5. Volume 2, I liked it. Again, I really liked every episode. Even the episode I liked the least was still good, but it was not as good as Volume 1. So I could definitely not give it an 8.5. I'll probably give it more of a 7 flat, which is pretty average around here. But a 7 flat for sure for Volume 2 because they could have at least given me 10 episodes.
Fair.
Tell you, Michael B did it. That's the reason why.
He brought it down a little. I agree.
Michael B brought it down.
I'm not going to say it was him, but that particular episode.
Right.
All the advertisement going into it.
Yeah. Dijon, what do you think?
I would give Volume 2 an 8. I thought it was pretty solid. Beyond the Michael B. Jordan episode. Yeah, I'm going to just keep ragging on that. It was cool. I mean, I loved everything. I mean, I loved it. What I can say so far about the first season, probably when I'm done with it, I'll probably end up giving it like an 8.5, to tell you the truth. But because right now I'm liking the episodes all so far, except that whole Russia thing. It's like,
yeah,
right
that one wasn't that great. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
awesome.
That's my verdict.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that I would probably also rate season 1 a little bit higher. I would say that season 1 for me is a 9, and this is a solid 8. It's great. There's nothing terrible about it. It's just that if you're going to compare it to what's come before, then it's not going to be as strong, just because there's probably, I'd say, seven or 8 really great episodes in season 1. This handful is 5, I think, that were really good. So yeah, season 1 is going to get a 9 for me, but this season, volume 2, definitely an 8. It's solid. The animation is wonderful. The stories are really great. And I really can't wait to see more of this. This is the type of show that I really like. I like to see the creativity of short stories, especially when you can animate them differently and give them their own unique sort of look.
Right. Yeah, I think it would be dope if they animated the Twilight Zone.
Honestly, honestly, in this day and age, it probably would work, like what we were saying in the last. And back with, what was it, Invincible. There's certain things that better off as fucking animation versus, how would you call it? Fucking, mine is farting all over the place. Fucking real time.
Yes. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the Reanimatrix, or the Animatrix, but better. Like the Animatrix was trying to do that sort of thing, where it was trying to tell like 3 or 4 different stories within different art styles, but this definitely takes it to a totally new level. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what happens. I don't think that we'll get a volume 3 for a couple years, because it probably takes a long time to animate this stuff. So yeah,
render it down.
Yeah,
let's just hope it doesn't get canceled. That's another thing too.
No way.
If they do some random shit on canceling good shit on
Netflix. When they cancel, that's when you bust out. That's when you bust out like a Russian gangster off a train. Fuck you.
Yeah, if they cancel it, then we need to start like a crowdfunding site where we can get the animators to just make the series separately, put it on a web series.
Yeah. Hey, well, they're not them Russians from Be Cool. We should get the Russians from Be Cool.
Right.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on my season 3 of Master of None, so we'll see.
Oh yeah, where's that at? Who knows? Well, that might be a little bit more complicated, so I'll just leave it at that. Thank you so much, you guys, for listening. We really appreciate you guys taking the time this Wednesday, or anytime you're listening to this. We hope that you enjoyed this episode. I know I did. I thought this was a great conversation. I hope that you guys enjoyed Love, Death, and Robots as much as we did. And thank you again for just listening and taking the time out this evening. If you want to check out what Keelan does on his podcast, If Numbers Could Talk, he's on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Please go check him out. He has his own YouTube page and Facebook page. He's also on our Thinkering Talks page on Facebook. Please go check him out. Send him some love. If you want to see what I do on my podcast, Exofathom, I'm on Monday and Friday at 8 p.m. I'm also got a YouTube page and a Facebook page. I'm also on Thinkering Talks as well. But if you're a purist and just want to hear us blabble on about movies, then we just thank you very much. And please consider leaving us a follow on our YouTube page. We're trying to grow that and get more subscribers, so that would be very helpful. And thank you guys for taking this trip through the Screen Time Continuum with us. For Screen Time Continuum, I'm Nick.
I'm Keelan.
And I'm Deshaun.
Good night, everyone.